Okay, can you see my screen now? I hope you can. So, admit all. So there are still some more people coming in. Okay. Okay, again, good morning, everyone. My name is Marilyn. I'm the founder of Customized Training Solutions Private Limited, Asia's most trusted learning and business solutions provider. And why we do this, our mission is to be able to help people and organizations across industries to achieve their objectives and overcome their current challenges through relevant learning solutions. And these are some of our clients that we are working with and some of our recent successful programs. Our solutions are actually focused on 3 areas that are recognized to help companies become and stay competitive in their industry, namely leadership mindset and programs, continuous improvement and innovation, and capability development. And these are some of our previous runs, and recently we've pivoted to live online learning, or LOL. And why our clients choose us? Mainly because of the experience and caliber of our trainers, coaches, speakers, and consultants, our customer centricity, and because we customize a lot of programs, and it's very targeted to the audience, relevant, experiential, and therefore cost efficient and impactful. So just a few reminders to make sure that we're going to have a very productive and smooth session. Sorry. So please have a paper and pen handy. And also if you have another device like mobile, or if you can later on open another, a link, we will do that as well. Participate throughout the full session. Kindly be on mute when listening. Unmute if you have a question or answer. And alternatively, you can utilize the chat function to interact. And of course, we will appreciate your feedback at the end of the session as well. And do turn on your video so that we can engage better. It's easier and nicer to be seeing people you're talking with. So even just through video. And later on, I hope we can have a group photo session. Okay, and without so much further ado, it's my great pleasure to introduce to you Mathy. We've worked together on several programs on emotional intelligence, business writing, and technical writing. So Mathy is an experienced trainer specializing in soft skill and HR related programs for more than 18 years. She has conducted training intervention in various industries like oil and gas, banking, manufacturing, hotels, and more. And Mathy has a master's degree in human resources development, holding honors degree in law, and a certified corporate trainer by Deloitte UK and PSMB. So without so much further ado, I'd like to give the floor to Mathy. Welcome, Mathy.
Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you so much. All right, morning, guys. Good to have you all around. All right, morning to you. All right, let's start our program. Now, objective of our program, before I share my screen, the objective of the program today, how do we write emails? Specifically, I'm going to focus on email writing because we have got an hour or so I'm going to just focus on which is important for you guys. So I'm going to share with you the 4-point plan and the 7 C's of writing. How important is it in our email writing? Now, first of all, can you all hear me? Just put yes. If you could hear me, put it in the chat, please, if you could hear me. Thank you, guys. And of course, I would like this session to be very interactive, so it's easier. Now, you can always put it in the chat. Now, if you want to unmute and ask me questions, please do. All right. And then at the end of the day, at the end of the session, I'm going to have Quizlet. I'm going to test you guys on quiz. So whatever you have learned with me, so I'm going to put it in the quiz so we can go live and do a quiz, quick one, so we will do that. So it will be more interactive because it's an online session. So it is it's good to have interaction here. All right, okay, let's start then. Okay, I hope you could see my screen. Let me just put it in the chat. Let me check whether I can see the chat or not. So can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, let me see whether I can see the chat, Marilyn. So if not, I need your help later.
Okay, sure.
Okay, again, I can't see the chat, Marilyn, so I leave it to you to read to me.
Okay, sure. I'll
Sorry.
help you with that.
All right, thanks, Marilyn. Okay, now let's start with impactful email writing. Now, important, we need to write professionally and tactfully any email that we are writing, okay? So it's important to do so. And when you write professionally, or what I'm going to share with you, the 7 C's and also the 4-point plan, then you could find your email to be effective. So it will be effective the way you write, and you can get the response easily. And then you're not going to write a grandmother, grandfather story, a long email. No, you're not going to end up writing a long email, all kind of story inside the email, which is not even important to write. So we're going to focus on writing it simple, straightforward, and your recipient would understand what you would write. Okay, moving on. I'm going to quickly start on the 7 C's that I mentioned. What are 7 C's? All right. Now we have definitely the 7 C is clear. That means you writing the message clearly. That is important, writing a message clearly. Now, then we do have correct language, the accuracy, the grammatical errors. Now, just to highlight to you, all of us do this mistake, yeah? Now, if you are doing this, you may want to correct this mistake, especially grammatical error here. Now, I'm sure you write, please revert to me as soon as possible. Now, do you use this sentence in your email? Please, yes or no on the chat box, please. Please put it in the chat box whether you write, please revert to me as soon as possible. Do you write that or not?
There are people saying yes and no.
Okay.
Revert only, no. Quite a number of people saying no.
Great. Now, if you don't write that, that's good. Now, those who are writing that way, please revert to me as soon as possible, or ASAP, please revert to me ASAP. That is the short form that you use. Now, do not write revert. Why? Because revert is not the right grammatic or right vocab to be used to replace reply, because it's a different meaning. Revert is a different meaning altogether. Meaning to say that when you write revert, that means going to the original state. Revert means you going to the original state. Now, that is different from replying. So if you are writing revert, you may want to change to write reply instead of revert. So that is something that you need to take note on, correct? So one of the grammatical error that we always make. And then another commonly made mistake, I wouldn't know about other countries, but commonly made mistake in Malaysia. Commonly made mistakes in Malaysia. Please return back the document by tomorrow evening. Now, I ask you a question. Return and back. What is the difference? Or repeat back. What is the difference? So you may want to look at this. Now, it could be redundant. So it's like repetitive kind of word that you're using. So you may want to look at all this when it comes to grammar and vocab. Now, then we talk about completeness. Now, completeness is about 1 husband and 5 W's. Y'all are y'all aware of what is 1 husband and 5 W's? Now, can you put it in the chat whether, what is your understanding when I say 1 husband and 5 W's, or 5 wives? Sorry, I shouldn't have said 5 W's. I should have said 5 wives. 1 husband and 5 wives. What do I mean by 1 husband and 5 wives? What is your understanding on that? Now put it in the chat. What is your understanding on that? What do I mean by 1 husband and 5 wives here?
How, who, what, when, where, why.
Thank you. Exactly. This is what you need to answer. So 1 husband and 5 W's or 1H and 5 W's. If you answer all these husband and wife, the 5 wives, that means you have completed the document. That means all info are there. So it's important to know these husband and wife thingy. Yeah. Okay. Now, concrete definitely means you're getting the facts, the figures clearly mentioned in your email or any form of message or any documents that you're writing. So you're putting it correctly there, and all are right facts and figures, especially if you're writing technical. Yeah, if you're writing technical, if you're writing any form of amount, okay, dollars and signs and all that. Now you may want to look at that, writing the facts clearly there. All right. And then we have concise, okay, avoiding lengthy sentences, meaning to say, thumb of the rule is in one sentence, you are supposed to write only 15 to 20 words, not more than that. Okay, maximum 20 words. Don't go more than 20 words in one sentence. Now, if you want to write, then you go to second sentence. Do not write in one sentence a lengthy kind of sentences. Now, so thumb of rule is 15 to 20 words. Now, don't add on comma and comma and comma and you continue to write. Then you'll be writing, as I say, grandmother, grandfather story inside your email. So you want to avoid that. All right. Now, the longer you write, you tend to make a lot of mistakes. All right. The longer you write, you tend to make a lot of mistakes. So you want to avoid that. Now, if you can make it short and simple, your sentences, then you see less mistakes that you make. All right. So that is on concise. Now, consideration. Consideration means it's about the recipient who receives the email from you. It's not about you. Meaning to say, you sit on your laptop, you sit on your desktop, you start writing, you type your documents or email, and then you go on to read whatever you've written and you go, oh, okay, I'm glad. Oh, I'm happy with my email. Oh, no, it looks good. I think I'm glad. Again, it's not about the person who's writing. It's about the recipient, whether the recipient understands what you have sent. So make sure before you sit on your laptop, your phone, whatever you are writing, wherever you are writing, think first. Now, who am I writing to? Know your audience. Who are you writing to? All right, that is the consideration part. Who are you writing to? Are you writing to a technical person or are you writing to non-technical person? Say you are a technical person and you are writing to a non-technical person. And then you're going to put all the technical jargon in your email and you're going to send it to the non-technical person. Now, that is going to be chicken and duck language. That's what we call chicken and duck. All right, that means both don't understand what language you are talking. Okay, so you may want to go down on your jargons on technical when you are writing to non-technical. So it's important to know that. Now, even generation plays a very big role in writing emails, basically. Now, if you really look at Generation Y and those who are from baby boomers, now I have covered that yesterday's program on generations, you know, different generation think differently, you communicate differently when it comes to generation. Now, baby boomers always emphasize on strong vocabulary. Okay, they emphasize on strong vocabulary, and whereas Generation Y, they tend to go very simple and straightforward kind of vocabulary that they use. So you want to look at that. Who are you writing to? So you want to align your email according to those you are writing. Okay, so that is consideration. So it's important. And also whether you're writing to your superior, are you writing to your subordinate? So who are you writing to? Are you writing to your client? So every email differs in the tone. Okay, the tone, even when we write, we do have tone. All right, we do have tone. So you need to bear in mind the tone in email is very important. All right, and then of course, we have the last one, courteous. Now we need to be polite as much as we can in our email. You know, politeness takes you a long way. So it's important to be polite because you need to build the rapport with the client with anyone that you are writing for that. Okay, so you need to be polite in your email. All right. Now, just to share with you, later I'll share the email, the real email. These are real emails that I'm sharing with you. Of course, not naming the person who wrote or what. Now, she wrote to a superior. She wrote to a superior. Please expedite all job. Okay, please expedite all job. Meaning to say she is writing to a superior. Now, she used that tone. Now, do you think that is the right tone to use if you're writing to your superior? Now, tell me yes or no in your chat. Do you think is that a right tone to use?
No, we're getting more no's.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely it is not. You're writing to your superior. As I said, you need to be polite in your email. So you need to be very careful on your tone of writing. Okay, this is about 7 C's. Now, if we follow these 7 C's, you see your email is super good to go. All right, now I'm going to share you how do you write simple, straightforward email. Now, I've been mentioning 4-point plan. What is 4-point plan? Now, this is very important. You may want to take note on what is 4-point plan that I'm referring to. All right. If you look at this, now this is a letter. Now, this similarly applies to email as well. Okay, similarly applies to email as well. Now,
Mathy, excuse me, there's a question here from Jacqueline. Is a smiley not appropriate to show that I am polite?
Okay, now.
With the emojis now.
Yeah, emojis. Okay, emojis. All right. Now, that is, it's a good question, exactly. Jacqueline, thanks for that. Now, it depends on the relationship you have with the recipient. Now, let's say your superior, it's the friendly type. Now, it's okay to use the emoji. Okay. Now, if you're writing to a client, the client is, first time you're writing to your client, maybe you want to avoid emoji first. Now, once you have built that relationship, okay, a friendly relationship with your client, then you may want to put the emoji. Now, you want to know your your superior. You need to know what kind of, are you, the superior, is it the friendly nature or that always focuses on professionalism and all that? So you may want to look at that. So you need to read your audience or read your recipient in that matter. Read your recipient who is receiving your email. So follow accordingly. It's not wrong to use emoji, but because it's a trend now. Now, those days we do not use emojis, definitely. When we write, I rarely use, if you ask me, I rarely use emojis. Okay, only through WhatsApp and all that, and that's a different thing altogether. When it comes to email writing, I hardly use emojis, but it's not wrong. If you ask me, it's not wrong, but make sure you know who is the recipient you are writing to. So that will be a vital thing to do. All right, moving on. Okay, now this is business letter. Please bear in mind, this is business letter. Of course, I'm following the UK format of writing because we Malaysians, we always follow the UK format of writing, or our English medium is, of course, following the British format. So I'm also addressing the UK format here. Now, maybe the American might differ in some way, some form, okay? But I'm referring to UK format here. Now, when you write, now this is letter, as I say, it is similar to email, but I'll show you the email later, the email part, but just to highlight the letter. Now, if you're writing a business letter, now look at the date here, 12 May. Now, when you're writing a date, you do not write first SST, second ND, third RD. So you don't write ST, RD, ND, or yeah, RD, ND, and ST. So that you need to remove. So you got to remove that here. So you just go on to write the date, the month, and the year. Okay, and look at the address here. You see there is no commas here, no full stop, no commas here. When you are writing, this is letter, okay, there is no commas or full stop. Now, if you look at, this is what we call as salutation. We call it as salutation, dear Lee Fong. When it comes to dear Lee Fong, you don't see a comma here. You don't see a comma here. You don't put a comma here. Because what I understand, of course, you cannot get it why, there's no explanation on why we don't put comma. So of course, a rational explanation that I think would be because we don't waste time on putting a comma on salutation, because it doesn't bring any significance there. Unless it's a full sentence, you put a comma, then it's a continuation of something. Then you put a comma or examples and all that. Then you put a comma. So it has significance. But when it comes to salutation, there is no significance here. So that you want to bear that in mind. All right. And if you look at yours sincerely as well, this is complimentary clause. When you look at yours sincerely, there is no comma as well. Now that applies to email as well. Now, if you have a salutation, no comma, and if you have what we call as complimentary clause, we do not have comma here. Now you may ask me, now if I don't put comma, now what others will think that I don't know how to write. Now the thing is, we are learning. Okay, you are here today, you are learning from me. This is the right way. Now what I'm referring, that particular, it's a scanned copy of from a book, Shirley Taylor. Yeah, you may always buy Shirley Taylor. She's a good author and an authority for business writing anyway. She's an authority for business writing. So the thing is, you do not put comma in both places. So salutation and also complimentary clause. Now I want to ask you a question here. Now please put it in the chat. This is important question. Most of us are not aware of this. Now, when it comes to this, yours sincerely. Now, don't Google, yeah? I want you to answer straight, honestly from you. Okay. The difference between yours sincerely and yours faithfully. What is the difference between yours sincerely and yours faithfully? Put it in the chat. I would like to know your knowledge on that. You've been writing all this while. You need to know what is the difference between these two. Don't Google. Just tell me what you know. Yes, do you know or you don't know? Or if you know, share it with me.
Feel free to unmute yourself or put in the chat your insight on that. Anyone?
Anyone? What's the difference? If you don't know, just say don't know. It's okay.
Don't know. So someone said don't know. No idea. Yeah. So yeah. Sincerely, truthful, faithful is strong belief. And then according to May, sincerely is used when you use the name.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much.
I don't use yours faithfully. Use when okay. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Marilyn. Okay. Now, exactly. All right. Was it Sue, Marilyn, who wrote that? Yours, sincerely, you know the name?
There's Gerald and there's...
Okay. Dear Li Fong. Now, the name is written here. So, if you know the name of the person you are writing, usually advisable to personalize your email. If you know the name, please write the name. Personalize your email. Now, if you know the name of the person you're writing to, you use yours sincerely. If you not sure of the name, usually you say sir or madam, then you say yours faithfully. Okay, you say yours faithfully. Let me repeat. If you know the name of the person you are writing, then like here, then you put yours sincerely. If you don't know the name of the person you are writing, then it becomes faithfully. All right, so I'm sure that I made that clear. All right, so fine with that. Now, moving on. Look at this. I look forward to seeing you again at this exciting conference. Now, this is usually most of the email that we write, I look forward and all that. Now, you must understand, this look forward is what we call as gerund. Okay, it's called as gerund. You may want to check it out later. What is gerund means? There are a few words come under gerund for writing purpose, for business writing purpose. This is important. Now, look forward is gerund. So after gerund, that means to. After to here, if it is a gerund, then it's to. Then it has to be ing. You don't say, I look forward to see you again. Because some of us think because it's to, after to, infinitive to, after to, we put the root word. No. Because this is gerund, we go on to say ing. So we say, I look forward to seeing you again. All right? Oh, great. Now, another thing is what we need to focus here is the salutation. Yeah, we talk about the salutation here. Now, we have MISS as Miss, MS, Miss, and then we have Madam. Now, man, very simple. Mr. They don't have problem. Men, they do not have problem. Mr. Whoever, Mr. John, Mr. whoever, you can always write. Okay. Now, when it comes to women, you know, they have a lot of problems. How should we address them? Now, MISS, MS, and Madam. Now, tell me, when do you use MISS? Put it in the chat. When do you use MISS to call them? Now, let's say Miss Mary, example, Miss Mary. So when do you use MISS? Put it in the chat. When do you use MISS?
Okay, when you are sure that she is really single, Miss or unmarried woman, yes.
Yeah, so 100% you're sure she's not married. Okay, if you're sure 100% she's not married, then you go on to write MISS. All right, now MS. MS. When do you write MS? When do you think you write MS? Anyone?
If unmarried or not sure if married or single.
Yes.
So Elaine says, I don't use it. Not sure of the marital status according to Ninette. Yes.
All right. MS, you use it to play safe. I call it as play safe. You want to play safe. You're not you don't know the recipient is married or not. You're not going to call up and find out, hey, married, are you married? You're not going to ask that, definitely, right? So just to play safe, you use MS, Miss Mary. So if you're not sure, then we go on to use MS. Now, Madam, definitely, we use it probably the position in the organization. So she holds a position in the organization, all right? So to address that, the seniority as well, we can call them Madam. And also age plays a part there as well, that you can call her Madam, or if you still don't want to use Madam, you always can use MS, Miss. All right, so this is how we use it. Now, Mr. is used for men. All right, so all men, that's it, straightforward, Mr. Now,
so
just
Maddie, sorry, there's a question here. If not sure female or male, I can just hear sirs, right? Or to replace male and female?
Yes, yes, that's a good question actually, especially the Chinese names. Yeah, we are not sure when they have the surname. We are not sure whether they we are writing to a male or female. You know, so then you don't write the MS, the salutation as MS or Miss or whatever, just the name, like here, dear Li Feng. So you don't write anything here because you're not sure whether it's male or female. Unless you already know, then it's fine. So it will be like kind of embarrassment or insulting them if you write a different gender kind of thing. So you may want to avoid that. It's better not to write if you don't know whether it's male or female you're writing. All right. And also to address this, because we have some Malaysians here as well, just to address this to some Malaysians. Now, we can write inche in emails, yeah? So we can write inche in emails, but only strictly to be used in Malaysia. All right, then we have Puan and Che. Of course, Puan is married, Che is not married. And then we have higher official, we can always use Tuan and Puan and all that. So just to address to those Malaysians are here, you can always write that in your email, but strictly only in Malaysia, because if you write out of Malaysia, unless the recipient is not Malaysian, yeah, if it's not Malaysian, they would not understand what you're writing. So that is just to address the Malaysians who are here. All
And
right.
there's
Yeah.
one more question from Gary. If you do not know the specific name and don't know the gender, then how to address generally?
Okay, then you go on to write dear sir or madam. So we usually put dear sir / madam. Okay, then here, if you're writing a letter, then it becomes yours faithfully because you don't know the name of the person. Okay, but it is advisable. If you don't know, then it's fine. But if not, if you know the name, it is better to personalize your email. All right. Okay, now moving on, I'm going to talk about the 4-point plan here. Now I'm going to go on to the email to show you that, what I mean by 4-point plan. Now, this is what I mean. Now, email, we do not write address because we do have our own email address and then the subject and all that. So this is not an issue. It's automatically there. When it comes to letter, I showed you that. Now, here, can you see? There is no comma here as well when it comes to salutation. And here, it's entirely up to you. You want to write best regards, warm regards, or you want to keep it professional, then you can go on to say yours sincerely or yours faithfully. That's entirely up to you. There is no rule for that. You're not supposed to write this way or that. So it's entirely up to you. What's your relationship with the recipient you're writing? So you want to make it professional, then go on to write yours sincerely and yours faithfully. Or you want it to be more friendlier, then you go on to write warm regards, best regards, and all that. Okay, now the 4-point plan that I mentioned: intro, details, action, and close. Now, if you follow this 4-point plan, you will see your email is perfectly short, simple, straightforward. What do I mean by this 4-point plan? Let me introduce to you what is this 4-point plan. Sorry guys, I need to scan that to show you, so it's not really straight as it is. Okay, now intro. When you write intro, it's about introducing the topic that you're writing. So you're introducing the topic that you're writing. So that falls under intro paragraph. Then you move on to give details on the subject that you're writing. All right, subject on their writing. So it could be just 1 paragraph or probably 2 paragraphs on details on the subject matter you're writing. Now respond, or we call it as action. What you want to do, or what you want the recipient to do, what action you're going to take, or what action you want the recipient to take. That will fall under action. And then we have, close, which is complimentary close. You say thank you and you close it. Now, let me repeat. Intro, introducing the subject you're going to write. Details, giving details on the subject you're writing. Action, what you're going to do or what you want recipient to do. And finally, you close. Now, if you have this 4-point plan, you will see your email is very straightforward. You just write what is intro. Now, the next you're going to write email, you just think about it. Okay, now let me show you this here, just to. Okay, now this, look at this. This is the email structure. This is different types, variety of emails. Yeah, different scenarios of emails here. Now, if you know the 4-point plan, I've already put it in the 4-point plan here. Anyway, everything is structured in the 4-point plan. Now, if you know the 4-point plan, it's easier for you to write email. So you don't have to crack your head. Now, what am I going to write? What am I going to write? Now, if you know what is your 4-point plan, it's easier to write email. So you don't have to, scratch your head on writing, what am I going to write? Okay. We're moving back. Okay, that is 4-point plan. So introduction, details, action, close. Okay, moving on. Now, I've done the complaint email here. This is how, just give you a few minutes to look at it, how a complaint email looks like using the 4-point plan. We have introduction, details, action, and close. Just give you a few seconds to look at it, how it can be structured if you're using 4-point plan. And you look at it, it's very simple. All right, I'm going to move on to the reply to complaint email. So that's complaint, this is reply to complaint. using the 4-point plan. Okay? Now, active voice. It's important to write your emails using active voice, not passive. All right? Now, the letter was presented yesterday to Mr. Ho. I'm just going to take one question here. I want you to try it out. This is in passive. The letter was presented yesterday to Mr. Ho. I want you to write in active. This is in passive. I want you to write it in passive. Quickly put it in the chat box. I want to see, then I give you the answer for this. We can't do all, but we just do the first one. The letter was presented yesterday to Mr. Ho. How do you change it to active voice on that? That's in passive. How do you change it to active? Quickly put it on the chat, then I can move on.
Mr. Ho presented the letter yesterday.
Read properly the sentence, and when you change to active, read it properly, whether it sounds the same.
And according to Miley, Mr. Ho was presented the letter yesterday.
Okay.
So anyone else would like to unmute yourself or put in the chat your answer?
You can put it in the chat. So if not, I will go on to the answer. Are we okay? Okay, I'll put it in the, I will share the next slide. Okay.
I presented the letter to Mr. Ho yesterday.
This is the answer. Mr. Ho received the letter yesterday. Can you see the difference? Now, this is passive. This confuses the readers. Actually, this is what it means. Mr. Ho received the letter yesterday. When you write in active voice, it is simpler and clearer, and recipients tend to understand. Now, what do I mean by passive and active here? Passive is you give importance to the action, not the person who carries out the action. Let me repeat. Passive, you give importance to the action, but not the person who's carrying out the action. Active, you give importance to the action. Sorry, to the person who's carrying out the action, not the action itself. One more time.
Okay, there's a question here. Received and presented is of different meaning. Why change the verb?
Now, the letter was presented yesterday. Now, here the meaning of presented is given. It's not as present, yeah, it's not a presentation. The letter was presented, means given to Mr. Ho. So the letter was given to Mr. Ho. Now, when you change, then Mr. Ho received the letter. That means he received. It's actually not presenting, it's given to him. That's what it means here. Got it? I hope you got it. Okay, now the active.
Yes, thank you.
All right, great. Now, active and passive. Active, as I said, you give importance to the person who is doing the action and not the action itself. So when you acknowledge people in corporate world, we should acknowledge people who is doing the action. We acknowledge them. That's why we write it in active. So when we write in active, usually the one who's doing the action, I, we, you, whatever, will come in front instead of the action itself. So you write in active and passive. Definitely this is to do with grammar. Probably you want to look into active and passive. How do we write? Now, most of the time we write in passive and it tends to be longer sentence compared to writing in active. So you may want to brush up on active and passive on the grammar part on that, okay? Now, writing tips to write professionally. Remember, your ABC is accurate, brief, and concise, okay? That is what ABC, know your audience, know your message, what you are writing now. If you know the 4-point plan, as I say, very simple 4-point plan, you will have 1 paragraph introduction, then you have what you call as details, intro, the first thing you write, then you have details on what you are writing. It could be 1 or 2 paragraphs, then you have action, and then you have close. So that's how you write your message. Now, acronyms, try not to write too too many acronyms and all that, and trendy expressions and all that. Now I know generation now love that, but you need to know who are you writing to. If you know your audience you are writing, now they might not be happy, you know, writing that. Just to share my experience, I received an email from a university when I was doing my master's. I received an email from them. It stated, we will have F2F next month. And then I was like, you know, I'm Generation X, and I was like, F2F, what is F2F? Now I need to Google and find out what is F2F means. Then I got to know F2F is face to face. Now you need to know who are you writing to. Probably I'm not the type who writes the acronyms and all that. So these are things quite important. Now try to avoid as much as you can on acronyms. Yeah. Now read your documents aloud. Why? Then you know whether you're writing it correctly or not. Reading aloud makes we can rectify our mistakes. Now, reader-friendly tone, as I say, it could be writing to your subordinate, writing to your superior, writing to your client. So you want to know what kind of tone are you using, okay? Now,
yes, there's a question here, Mathy. Sorry to interrupt. Is it okay to change the color, italize, or bold fonts in text to emphasize a point in your letter? Is that acceptable?
Yeah, I'm going to touch on that in a minute, Marilyn. I'm going to touch on that. Okay, I'm going to touch on that. How can you emphasize certain things in your email? I will touch on it in a bit. Yeah, so just give me a few minutes. I'll touch on it. Now, try not to write poetry or literature. No long emails. As I say, don't write grandmother, grandfather story. I always say that to y'all. And then focusing on the 1H and 5Ws, and try not to write, repeat back, return back, words like that. Try not to repeat your words. And then finally, you proofread your document before you send. So that's important. Now, this is just to highlight to you a negative message. When you're sending something, not really a pleasant message to someone, now this is the format that you need to use. You need to start with a positive message first, then start with the less positive, and then you give detail, make it everything short, and then you close positive as well, all right? Now, look at this. First one, if you're writing to your client, you're writing to your customer. You have, let me name this as A, let me name this as B, let me name this as C. Now, if you're writing to your customer, would you write A, B, or C? If you're writing to your customer, what kind of tone would you use here? A, B, and C. Put it in your chat, which one would you choose here? A, B, C?
A, B, C. So there's someone who says use we, C, okay. We're seeing more C's here.
All right, great. Now, that's good. That you could identify the answer is C, because you know why? Using this particular word, for you, just that one, you, okay, using for you, it makes a lot of difference when a client or customer reads it. That means you're concerned about your customer or client that you're writing to. So in writing, certain words gives that important, that to show concern and care, all right? Now here, oh, it's the same thing, yeah? It's the same thing. Sorry, it's the same thing. I put it double. So do forgive me. All right. Okay. Now, this, when it comes to grammar, here, make a decision. Now, decision, I'm sure you all know this is noun. You need to know what is verb or noun to correct this, yeah? Now, verb or noun. Now, when it comes to decision, this is noun. This is not verb. When you can change noun to verb, you see here, decided. So decision is noun, you change it to verb, you find your sentence is shorter. All right, you find your sentence is shorter, then you're writing this way. All right, you change noun to verb. So there are a few examples I've given here. Now, we always say give consideration. In fact, consideration is noun. When you change it to verb, it becomes consider. All right. Now, here is basically whether you're writing as a boss or leader. So it makes a lot of difference if you're writing as a boss or leader. Now, if you're writing as a boss, you will use this tone. If you're writing as a leader, you will use this tone to show you care for your employees. Simple as that. Okay, give you a few minutes to see the difference in writing. Okay. And then positive writing. Try to avoid writing negative, more on positive here. All right, so this is more towards negative way of giving message, and this is more positive. All right. Okay, this is what earlier, the question on emphasizing something in business writing. Now, in Malaysia, I'm not sure of other countries, but in Malaysia, commonly to emphasize something, they tend to use red font in emails. Now, red font, the connotation of red font is anger, to show anger. So please try not to use red font in your email as much as you can. All right, now if you want to emphasize, you can use bold facing, underlining, even punctuation and all that. Even words such as especially, particularly, crucially, these are words you could use to emphasize some things in your email. Now, and also highlighting, you have highlighted that you can highlight, underline, using capital letter, boldface. All these can be used there to emphasize. All right. Now, if you want to use some colors to differentiate, then that is fine. But if your intention is to show the anger in your email by emphasizing something, then red font will not be suitable, because that is you'll be projecting what you are, what kind of person you are. It's your personality. You're projecting your personality in your email. You can project the way you speak orally. Orally, when we speak, when we have verbal communication, when we tend to use a lot of negative words and screaming and all that, that shows what kind of person you are. Similarly, when you're writing, try to avoid using red font. That is email etiquette anyway. So try not to use the red font in that. So you may use boldface, underline, and also what we call as highlighting and all that. So I hope I've answered the earlier question on that. Okay. Now, this is grammar. Again, if you look at when we write conjunctions are words like and, but, okay, and, but, that is conjunction. There are a few others. Now, you need to be careful when you write conjunction. Now, you look at before conjunction and after conjunction. If you look at it, this is adjective, this is noun. Now, this is wrong. Now, if you're writing conjunction, then before and after conjunction need to be the same. If it is adjective, adjective. It is noun, noun. So you need to be careful on that. And then also when it comes to but, so it has to be same before and after. So this is something to do with grammar. Finally, please proofread your documents before you send to someone. All right. Now I'm going to just put a video quickly now, just to summarize. Oh, okay. Now, yeah, before I go on to the video. Now, look at this. This is some samples, yeah, some real examples, yeah, real examples, emails which conceals red fonts, which we do not encourage. And then this is the one I said, a subordinate writing to a superior. Now read it and tell me how does it sound? What is the tone like? Like I said, you know, please expedite all work. This you are writing to your superior. Now this kind of tone. So this kind of tone, definitely not advisable to write when you're writing to your superior. All right, so you must be careful on that. All right, and look at this email. Now, this is some form of exaggeration. Dear esteemed leaders, ladies and gentlemen, that I call it as fan club. This is what I call it as fan club, yeah? All right, so we don't write, exaggerate in such a way, unless you get additional bonus by writing that, okay, you write this, we give you additional bonus in your, you know, performance and all. Come on, be realistic. dear sir, madam, or dear whoever. That is fine. You don't exaggerate in your email. Now, you don't write emails such a long email. People will not read your emails if you write long emails. All right. That is the structure. Now I'm going to go on to the video I mentioned. Hope you could hear the Okay, I'm going to stop watching now. Yeah, I have Gary saying the tone is like writer is the boss. Yes, you are right. Okay, now I'm going to take you guys to Quizlet now. Whatever we have learned, we're going to test you on the quiz. Now, we take a 5 minutes. We will do, I'm going to share the link, and you can use the quiz, what they call QR code to go into that. Basically, there are, I think it's 10 questions there. The moment someone answers the question, then the person becomes champion, and then the game stops there. All right? Okay, let me share the Quizlet so all of you could come in. Okay, I'm going to go live on that. Yeah, you can scan this QR code and come in, or I would, I don't know whether I could copy the link because I can't see the chat. That's the problem. If you can, just use the, no, I can't. I have to stop sharing and share the, yeah, some of you. Oh, yeah, okay, I could see. Okay, I'm going to share the link here. All right. So once everyone in, I just give you 1 minute. Once everyone in, I will start the game. We have 22 players here.
We have 26 players now, and we're supposed to have 48 attendees. So feel free to get into the Quizlet.
Yeah, it's
Either
just a
scan the
fun
QR
way of
code.
understanding what you have learned. Okay, just a fun way of
Yes.
understanding what you have learned
Yes.
here.
So either scan the QR code or click the link that Mathy has provided earlier. Okay. So maybe I don't think some of them will be joining.
Okay.
So we
Now,
can
once I
probably.
start, then I can't get anyone in. Then I had, I got, but there are more coming in.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
So
I give you 30 seconds. Then we start. Yeah. Yeah, they're more
yes.
coming in. So Marilyn, you want once 30 seconds, you let me know. Then I start the game.
Okay. Okay, just click the link or scan the QR code. We have 10 seconds. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Okay, I'm gonna start the game now. All right. Okay. These are your names. These are your names here. So I'm sure you know what are your names there. Okay. Now I'm gonna start. Have champion four. Yeah, Lauren. Congratulations. So let me exit the game and then stop sharing. All right, Laura, congratulations.
Hey, I think there are some that has issues in accessing the
Oh, is it?
quiz.
Okay.
There were like some
Maybe a
error
simple,
messages.
yeah, simple link. You can just click on it. You can be on it. All right, it's okay. No worries. So, okay. So that wraps up my session. Now I will take questions. If you have any questions now, I will take the question and then I'll pass it to Marilyn after that. Any questions, anyone?
While you're thinking of your questions and writing it down on the chat, let me just share again my PowerPoint uh, just to make sure in case, there are some people who has to leave. later on. So here are some of our live online learning programs. So this email writing is just a preview. It's just for an hour. The full session is actually equivalent to 8 hours or 4 hours times 2 days. So which means if you had really much value from this 1 hour, imagine how much more you can learn from Mathy for the full session. So let us know if you'd like us to arrange either an in-house or a public run for your team. Okay, and thank you again for your amazing participation. We have a lot of very useful questions today, very active participants. Thank you so much for that. And we would appreciate your feedback and testimonial as well as we reinvent our services and co-create our programs in such a way that will give you outcome and impact. So we'll send in the form as well in the chat, and please do visit our website or like us on our Facebook page so that you can check the next or upcoming LOLs. And do contact us at marylyn@citsolutionsglobal.com for any questions or requests for a customized program. And of course, we expect to hear, please do expect to hear from us, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. And with that, we would like to leave you also this quote from Tom Hopkins, that you are your greatest asset. Put your time, effort, and money into training, grooming, and encouraging your greatest asset. So I'll stop share. Please do put in the chat your questions, if any. Yes, I'm seeing a lot of thank you here. You're welcome. And thank you so much for your participation as
Thank you,
well.
guys. Thank you for your patience and passion. Okay, let me see. There's a question
So
here.
there's a question already here.
Yeah, okay.
From Gary.
Gary, how can you balance the tone of your message that is not too demanding, not too kind, that you are still able to send a message and get results? Thank you. All right. Now, the first thing is, of course, I did not mention this now, meaning to be not too kind in a sense that in every sentence, you do not have to emphasize saying, please, please, please. I think once you say please, that is good enough. And secondly, another word they use is please, kindly. Yes, please, kindly. You don't have to mention please, kindly. Either one, either please or kindly. Now that is being too kind, as you say. You have to be polite, but that doesn't mean every sentence you need to be too polite. And also, if you want to emphasize, like, let's say, you know, first time you're writing to a recipient, you may want to sound nicer, okay, nicer. If you, let's say collection department, let's say it's a collection department. So for instance, it's a collection department. If you're writing to your customer for the collection and all that, now first time you need the collection, you will be nice type of email you will send, being kind and all that. Now when you write secondly, or second time when you write, then you may want to, you know, be a bit harsh, not very harsh yet, but a bit harsh, want to emphasize on what you want, exactly telling that you need to pay by this date and so on. So you need to, you expecting the payment to get in by this date. Okay. Now, definitely the third one, you know, if you need to issue any legal notice and all that will come in the third time when you write email. Now, definitely you're not going to say in first email itself, you're not going to say, now, if you don't pay, we're going to issue you a legal notice and all that. No, definitely not. So it depends. When you're writing to your recipient, take step by step to be harsher, I would say. Okay, don't start with a very negative email at the beginning. All right, so I have shared with you the format for writing an email which is less positive. All right, so that is the format that you could use. So it depends when you are writing the email and all that. Okay. All right, thank you, Gary, for the question. Any other questions?
Okay, any other question? While there are some more people who would be thinking of their questions, please turn on your video so we can finally see you.
Okay,
and
so
we can take a group photo here. please feel
Okay.
free to turn on your videos and let's take a picture. I'll be sharing that in our thank you email as well.
Okay, let me answer Sudha's question here. There's one question
Okay,
here.
sure. Please
Is
do
it okay
so.
to use sincerely and not yours sincerely in business letters? Now, usually when you say sincerely, you're supposed to use yours sincerely. Now, yours is, Y is capital, S is small letter. All right. So yours sincerely, you're supposed to write yours sincerely and yours faithfully. Do not write sincerely and faithfully without yours. So yours, Y capital letter, S small letter. All right.
Thank you so much for turning on your videos or cameras. So for the rest, please feel free to do so we can go ahead with a group photo. And if you do have more questions, feel free to unmute yourself or type in the chat any additional questions. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much for turning on your video. And for the rest, please feel free to do so that we can take a group photo. Thank you so much. Yes, and you can still think of any questions if you have. Yes. So please turn on your videos. We'll just take a short group photo taking. So, okay, we're still waiting for a few more. Feel free to turn on your video and think of any additional questions, if any. Yes, thank you. Okay, we'll just wait for 10 more seconds and we'll go ahead with the photo. Okay. So, okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I guess most of you are ready. Just give us your most beautiful smile and let's take a photo. Smile. Okay, thank you. Any more questions from anyone?
Yeah, any
So
questions?
I'll just
I'm
save
a
our
pleasure
first.
to answer any questions you have. Okay, let me see whether there's any questions. Okay, Gerald asked me a question. Does including picture screenshot in the email okay? And if so, up to what size is it acceptable? Now, it's okay to use screenshots and pictures and all that, but of course you need to look at the privacy of the other person as well. That is legal matter altogether. But there is no what you call no rules to say you know what kind of size you're supposed to use, but be reasonable when you're sending screenshots and pictures and all that. Not too many and not too big. So be reasonable as you put yourself into the recipient's shoes, and what will be annoying you, what will not annoy you will be applied similarly to the recipient as well. All right, Gerald, on that. Jacqueline asked me, where is Mathy staying? I'm a Malaysian. I stay in Seremban. Hi, Jacqueline. Any other questions you have? Anyone else? If not, then we could say bye.
Okay. So I guess there's no more questions from our participants. They just want to hang out with us, Mathy, as usual. There's still like 38 participants in this session, and no more questions, I guess. So with that, I think we have to conclude our program. Thank you so much again for coming. And we look forward to seeing your feedback. Let us know how else we can improve and how else we can add value to your team through our programs. And again, this is our form for the feedback. We will also send that to through our thank you letter. Any questions or anything that we can help you with, feel free to email us. You've seen my email as well, and you know where to contact me. So looking forward to see you again. Thank you so much, everyone.
Stay safe, guys. Take care and stay safe. Bye-bye. And
Yes.
thank you for joining.
Enjoy the rest of the week. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maddie.
All
I'll
right.
call you.
All right. So I leave.